I'm called to children's ministry and to reaching the next generation with the message of God's love and salvation. I hold tightly to the promise found in 1 Corinthians 1:23 and 24. But we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. But to those whom God has called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. Aaron Perry explains how training the children of today strongly fits into the Wesleyan model of leadership because, quote, the Wesleyan movement was concerned about making disciples before it was concerned about making leaders. It is now our time to make disciples who will follow and serve God as the leaders of tomorrow. This key message of salvation must always be the central focus of anything we teach or do. Everything else is secondary. When thinking about my role in ministry, my job is as a bridge of the gospel. For over 70 years, Christians have been taught to perform evangelism using a tract called The Four Spiritual Laws. Though the tract has been revised in recent years with all new sketches, the enduring image left in the minds of generations of Christians is that of a cross spanning the chasm between sinful humanity and the holy God. Matthew P. John takes that image and expands upon it to create a fifth spiritual law. Jesus' purpose in giving us his peace is for us to serve as a bridge to share this message with the world. Quote, he wants us to bridge a deep divide that is growing between the church and the culture. As this bridge, we must span the chasm between the church and the world in order to make the church relatable to those in the world. I too must serve as a bridge conveying the message between God and my specific audience of children. Children need strongly concrete illustrations that relate to themselves in order to get the sense of a lesson. My role as a bridge is to find the messages that connect personally with my children in order to help them see Jesus. As we serve in our ministries to meet the needs of others, we also crucially need to make sure that we are continuing to maintain our own spiritual walk, in particular through the process of abiding in Christ. To better appreciate the full meaning of the concept of abiding in Christ, it helps to look at perhaps the most significant verse in the Bible to use this term, John 15:4. Abide in me and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. Here, the term abide conveys a strong sense of being attached to Jesus. John 15:4 continues by comparing Jesus to the vine and Christians to the branches. The branches of a grapevine have their job, but it is just to display the work that the vine is performing. It must do the work of holding the branches up and creating the grapes that everyone will admire on the branches. In the same way, Jesus wants to hold us up and let his own fruit grow in us to display to the world. We don't actually have to do the work of growing. Jesus does that himself for us. What a sense of rest and peace comes with that understanding of the term abide. Stephen Seamands addresses this issue further in a quote by Hudson Taylor. Ah, there is rest. I have striven in vain to rest in him. How great seemed my mistake in wishing to get the sap, the fullness, out of him. Taylor realized that as the branch, we don't have to do any work to get the sap out of our vine, Jesus. We need just to let the vine do its natural work, and Jesus will supply everything we can ever possibly need. When we put our ministry in God's hands, he will remind us that it is not ours. It belongs to the Lord. If we make our motto 1 Corinthians 10:31, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God, then we will truly abide in Christ.